Now at 11, as two separate lawsuits prepare to make their way through court, leaders in Newport speak out over how the federal government is operating in the community.
The federal government is either doing things or thinking about doing things, and they won't tell the community what it is.
Plus, how demonstrators in Beaverton are showing their support to the local immigrant community impacted by a federal crackdown. And later, the Oregon Zoo lights up for the holidays.
I'm very ready for Christmas. I'm ready for Christmas even before Thanksgiving.
The sights and sounds of zoo lights on this opening weekend. And thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm John Adams. Outrage on the Oregon coast after Newport's Coast Guard helicopter was taken from the city last month. The state, Lincoln County, and Newport fishermen's wives all suing the Trump administration to get it back. New tonight, we got a response from the Department of Homeland Security saying these efforts to, quote, micromanage Coast Guard operations are completely intrusive and obstruct the work of the service's men and women. Jay Coulter brings us the story from Newport, where Senator Ron Wyden toured the Newport Municipal Airport and heard concerns from local leaders and the community.
The Coast Guard helicopter that has staged here at the Newport Municipal Airport since the 80s is no longer, and it's raising safety concerns ahead of Dungeness crab season.
We take this personally.
Concern on the coast after Newport's Coast Guard helicopter was moved without warning. Democratic Senator Ron Wyden, joined by more than a dozen Newport fishermen's wives, highlighting the dangers of not having a rapid response to someone overboard in the Pacific.
If somebody is in that ocean, they may not be with us in a matter of minutes.
My boat is going to be Dungeness crab fishing in just a few weeks. I have family members on that boat.
Local officials say the helicopter was moved from the Newport Air Facility to North Bend's Coast Guard Base, about 70 miles south, without public notice or confirmation if that move is permanent.
The law requires that they engage the community, not after they've made a decision, but as they're making that decision, before that they're making that decision, so we can be part of the decision process. That didn't happen here, and that's really, really wrong.
Newport is the site of one of the largest crabbing fleets on the West Coast and the largest in Oregon. And due to the danger of the job, Lincoln County officials say the helicopter conducts dozens of rescue operations every year. So the Newport fishermen's wives and Lincoln County are asking that the federal judge bar the helicopter's removal before Dungeness crab season begins.
We're not asking for anything but the status quo. What we have had, the safety we have had for 40 years, and we're asking that this happen immediately, not when they're able to.
The Newport Air Station is currently unstaffed, and later Sunday afternoon, Wyden hosted a town hall where hundreds turned out demanding the helicopter be returned.
We need our helicopter back, and we need it back right away.
Crab season is opening up shortly, and that's one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. And they're going to be, 35 to 45 minutes short of pickup time if they go in, because they got to come up from, North Bend or from Astoria.
The state is also filing suit against the Trump administration, arguing that the removal violated, quote, federal statutory requirements and standards that require public notice, community input, and risk assessments before the Coast Guard downgrades or relocates an air station or essential rescue asset. The Newport fishermen's wives and Lincoln County filed their lawsuit on Friday, and the state will file its on Monday. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Jake. The helicopter's relocation came just before the city of Newport received indications that the Department of Homeland Security was planning on opening an ICE facility at the Newport Airport. The status of that plan remains unclear. But people we spoke with at that town hall aren't happy about a potential ICE presence in the community. One man we met there spoke about the impact ICE could have on the local economy.
We have a lot of people that are legally here but maybe not citizens who provide a definite service to this community. And if ICE comes in and starts messing with that and moving those people out, you're talking about like Pacific Seafood, you're talking about the restaurant industry. All those jobs will be gone, and that's going to affect the economy.
Another woman told us they are concerned about the possibility of an ICE facility coming to the area.
This whole threat of placing some kind of ICE detention facility in our community, that's not okay. That is not consistent with our values. It's not consistent with what we're doing in our community, and we're a bunch of people here standing up against that.
Well, during that town hall, Senator Wyden took a number of questions from community members and spoke out about the possibility of that ICE detention facility coming to Newport. Residents in Beaverton gathered this morning to show support for the local immigrant community in response to recent ICE activity. Today, more than a dozen community members marched near Southwest Center Street. They say they're pushing for the city and the Beaverton School District to take action. They're asking leaders for more support at bus stops to ensure kids of immigrant families get to school safely, funding for nonprofits helping families with immigration services, and for the city to issue a state of emergency in response to ICE activity.
Right now, there's fear in the community, and previously it was a warm, welcoming community. We really need a consolidated effort, something that is community and government together, to show that these immigrants and the population of Beaverton are supportive.
KGW reached out to both the city of Beaverton and the Beaverton School District this morning for comment. We have not yet heard back. Meanwhile, we're still trying to learn how 4 U.S. citizens reportedly got detained by immigration authorities, one of them being a 17-year-old McMinnville High School student who the principal says was off campus during their lunch hour when he was detained. Local coalition Oregon for All says the 4 were held for hours without access to an attorney. They say they were taken to the ICE facility in Portland before being released a few hours later. We've reached out to the Department of Homeland Security to find out more information on what happened. They acknowledged our request, but have not yet gotten back with us with information. Well, this is an ongoing story touching many parts of our state. To catch up on our latest reporting, visit our website, kgw.com. You can also watch the news on your own schedule through our streaming app, KGW+. Well, turning now to weather, it was another gray and dreary day across our area. The rain showers weren't that heavy, but they were persistent throughout the day. Let's check in with meteorologist Joe Ranieri with what this week's going to look like. And Joe, it might be a lighter week of work for many of us, but everyone wants to know what that forecast is going to be on Thanksgiving.
Hey, I can tell you this, I got at least 2 days of work ahead. I'm still trying to get at it Tuesday. We'll see what happens. But regardless, if we're going to be, hitting the roads, I have a look at what's now, next, and what's new in the forecast. So right now, we're looking at showers continuing overnight. They're going to be very light. In fact, they'll be pretty light heading into tomorrow. I'm calling tomorrow mainly dry. A chance to see some light showers. That's what's next. I'd say by late morning, early part of the afternoon. Once we get into the noon hour, we're pretty much done. New is the snow levels drop tonight and into tomorrow. No accumulations, we down to 3,000 feet. Unfortunately, it's been a while since we've seen a good amount of snow up in the Oregon Cascades, and we're going to have to wait a little bit longer as well. If we had a little bit of some heavier precipitation and the colder air, we could be seeing the snow piling up, but that's not going to be the case right now. We will be looking at some areas of fog to start things off tomorrow. Not as dense as we have been seeing the last couple of nights, but tomorrow we'll be looking at areas of morning fog. Again, Monday will be drier, John, but we could be seeing a light shower. And looking ahead in the holiday week, cool, cloudy, and wet. I'll break down the timing of when things get really wet coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. New at 11, a person was taken to the hospital and is in critical condition after an apartment caught fire earlier tonight. It happened around 8 in Longview, Washington, near the intersection of Florida Street and 17th Avenue. Firefighters found the victim while searching the apartment and brought the fire under control after making sure no one else was inside. No other apartment there was affected. In Vancouver, a house fire that took place this morning is still under investigation. It happened just after 7:15 off of Northeast 4th Circle in the east part of town. Neighbors called 911 and alerted those inside, who were able to get out safely. 2 adults and 2 children were displaced as a result of that fire, which had spread into the attic. Thankfully, no one was hurt. The Oregon Humane Society is seeking homes for the holidays. 2 months ago, they took in more than 60 Pyrenees mixed dogs as part of a neglect case in Polk County. Nearly 24 of them are now ready for adoption. The Humane Society says many of them are shy, but some have since become loving and playful. And check this out, the Oregon Zoo is lighting up once again for the holiday season. This was the first weekend of Zoo Lights, which gives people the chance to visit the zoo transformed into an interactive light show. There are nearly 24 displays across the zoo, some returning and some new ones designed by local artists and makers.
It's actually really nice. They're very gorgeous and it's fun to see it.
It's really nice. It's like I should empty out my storage because I took a lot of photos. It's like cold out here, so you put on something warm and then you see all the lights. It's really Christmas vibe.
Zoo Lights is open most nights through January 4th. Tickets are $35 for adults and $30 for kids, but are down to $13 on a number of value nights. Plus, your entry tickets gives you a free ride to the zoo with TriMet. To the University of Portland, they advance in the NCAA men's soccer tournament in dramatic fashion earlier. The match with Denver went into penalty kicks tied 2-2, but that's when the Pilots prevailed in penalty kicks. They will play Grand Canyon in the third round on Saturday. We'll have much more sports highlights tonight on Sports Sunday.